Hello, it's me and Puddock here. Just to let you know that we've had a few people who have been asking about the Roy of the Rovers writing, and we want to just really show you how straightforward it is about what you need to do. No need to worry. There's not even a huge amount of work that needs to be done for it. It's all about building things up over a period of time. So Puddock's going to say goodbye now, while I show you and take you through how to achieve what you're doing. So from the blog, Tuesday 19th of May, we have got a writing task all about Roy of the Rovers. Okay, so I've already clicked on it and opened it up, and what we've got is we've got an image of Roy of the Rovers football writing kit, our instructions about how to use this, and at the bottom of it we have another picture, this time of a team photograph of Melchester Rovers. For those of you who don't know, Melchester are the team that Roy plays for. His very famous comic character from the 60s and the 1970s, but he's still going today. You can still read his things. So today's task is actually the second part, and if you click on here you will get today's task, but very few of you actually did the first part, so you might want to do the first bit first, where you actually create all your players. So let's have a look at part one. When you click on it, it will open up a PDF file, so your computer will be downloading the file for you, and it's just a matter of it's something that you can either print out and write on, or you can read it and just write onto a piece of paper what you want to do. You can read it and type into a blog. It's entirely up to you how you actually produce your work. But let's have a look at what we do. So this is chapter 1, create your own football team. So if I scroll down, let me just get myself sorted. So if I scroll down, we get introduced to Roy and Rocky Race. All right, so this is Roy, this is Rocky. I'm just going to make this slightly bigger so that we can see it a bit so that I can read it a bit more clearly. Okay, so there we have Rocky and Roy. We've made this workbook for you to do at home. Life is empty without football, so I thought this might help you. So you can read through what the chat is about, and as you scroll down it will eventually get to the idea about what they want to do. So let's see where we've got it. It's this next page, page 3, that actually helps you to do your task. So it says create your own football team, making up characters. Right, so this is the characters that we're going to do. So when I was younger and stuck at home, I used to invent my own football teams. I put in my favourite Melchester Rovers players. I'd include mega players like Messi and Haaland, but I'd be striker. My dad would be in there too, and then I'd add a couple of my friends, and I put Rocky in as well. And then I used to make up stories about our games. What really helped was having a team of interested players to choose from. I knew who they were, what they looked like, what they played like, and where they were on the pitch. So we can actually see this is the sort of thing that he was doing. So you'd have your name of your character. Okay, so we've got the name of the character is Rocky Race. We've got their position, midfield. You would have a picture of them, and then we'd have in this bottom here we'd have some information about the type of player they are. So she's short, dark haired, strong, a dream teammate who will back you 100%, but a nightmare sister who will steal food off your plate. So we've got these bits of information, trying to make them quite interesting, because remember, you're going to use this character in a story. So do make sure that you try to think of interesting things to put in there, and realistic things. Don't be, don't be so crazy that it doesn't make sense. Okay, so we have those. As I scroll down, it just tells you pretty much what I've just said there. Okay, it says there it's a bit like his own match attack team. which if any of you know about Match Attack, you'll realise that. So here we go. You then have to create your own football team. So you've got positions, you've got names and positions here, and your job is to, just as we did before, think about who is going to go in there. Okay, obviously one of them is going to be you, so put your name in. In what position would you prefer to play? Are you a goalkeeper? Are you a fullback? Are you a midfielder? Are you a striker? So what's your position going to be? Plenty of space for a picture of you. And then 3 interesting facts about you that could relate to the story that you will eventually write. You're not writing the story today, but try to put some interesting facts that would help you with your story about your character. As we continue through this, you will see that you've got 2 more players there. You've got 2 more, another 4 on that page, another 4 on that page. Okay, so you've got, altogether you will have 11 players to help you design your team. 3 little facts about them. Doesn't have to, if you're struggling for facts, 2 facts would do. Okay. Make sure you cover all the positions of your team as well. Try to make sure. So that's your first bit that you need to do. All right. So let's go back to the blog again. So that was part 1, and you may well have done that already, but that's where you start because you need your players. This week's task is part 2, and you access that by clicking on the top picture, and that will bring you, again, it's a PDF that you can print out and write on. You can keep it on the screen, and you can write on a piece of paper. However you deal with it is entirely up to you. So let's have a look again. So this time, chapter 2 is designing your own football club. So this is the organisation that all these players play for. All right, so you might have famous players, might be Messi, but his club is Barcelona because that's who he plays for. So we're trying to make your team. So let's scroll down and see what they're saying. So it's about designing your own club. And again, I'll just make it slightly bigger so that we can actually read it. So we've got what sort of football team do you want to play for, or do you play for, or you support? Okay, what sort of a football team do you want to play for or manage? Those are the sort of things you want to do. Do you want to play for a small local club, or do you want to play for one of the big clubs who are winning all the trophies? You can have all different sorts of stories. You could start off with a small club who are doing amazingly well and go on to surprise everyone and win a trophy. You could be a team that's struggling with relegation. You could be a team who are winning in Europe. There's all sorts of things that you could have. If you've got a really big team and you're one of the players and they are buying in all sorts of new players like Messi and Ronaldo, how will you manage to keep your place in the team? Will it put pressure on anybody else, on your friends? Will they struggle to keep their place in the team? So there's all sorts of things you can think about, because the type of pitch will have it. Okay, so let's see what it says. So think about the places that you've played or you've watched football. All right, so there's a little bit here. So this says, let me just highlight that for you so we can see the bit I'm reading. So I'm looking at this bit here. Okay, so I play for a women's football team. So this is the person that's writing this, at the local sports centre. There's big metal fences around the pitch to keep the ball from flying in the canal. There are 4G pitches, smelly communal changing rooms, but all that will change when Melchester Rovers have a women's team. All right, so there's different things that you've got there. So it then goes on to say, anyway, oops, I've not got my box. Let's get my box. There we go. Anyway, back to you. Make a quick list of 3 things you've admired at other football clubs that you'd like your football club and stadium to have. Floodlights, a scoreboard, like electronic scoreboard, huge stands. Who you might have, so there's those sorts of things. You try and think about what it is about the stadium. Okay. If we have a look at what you've put, you want to be quite imaginative about it, but you're mostly putting things that you see. but there's a lot more to a stadium than what you can see. So it then says, try to think about the experience of being at a stadium. Okay, so, and it's using your senses. The senses are very, very important for describing things. Okay, and I love this little description here, this one that she says about her brother, where she says, look at this, my brother Roy's stinking kit after training, like rotting zombie corpses. Oh, that would really stink. So you could actually put in that for smells. Or maybe the smell that I think about when I go to football is when you go to the go and get some food to have, and you can smell the drinks. I can always think of like a beefy Bodrel smell when I go to football. What can you hear? Sound of the crowd. Or when the ground's empty, maybe you can hear the sound of the lawnmower as the groundskeeper or the groundsman is cutting the lawn or cutting the grass, the pitch. So there's all sorts of things that you can see, taste, see, feel. Lots of things to describe about the actual ground. Okay, so again, plenty of things to think about. Oops, get rid of that box, otherwise it'll be there forever. And then let's move down again a little bit further, where you actually start to design your own football club. So there's pictures of two places that she's watched football in. So we've got Mel Park, and that's where Melchester Rovers that's where they play, and then we've also got the local sports centre where she plays, all right, for Sowerby FC. So there's different places where you can play, and that can have an impact on what you're doing. Oops, I've lost my, let me just move myself out of the way so I can actually move the pitch down. Okay, so you might want to name the stadium and the stands after things that are really important to you. I know that lots of football clubs name their stands after famous players or after famous people who have been involved with the club. So you could think about who you might want to name your stands off after. Do you want to have a stand named after your mum or your dad? You might even want a stand named after your favourite teacher. You could have the Mr. Thompson stand. How good would that be? Seriously though, choose a stand. You can think about what you're going to call your stand's name. So there you go. That's you to design your ground and your club. Think about what you're doing. So enjoy.